Hello, if you're watching this, you've probably had an injury too. Well, my name's Nick. I ruptured my ACL in my left knee while skiing in the Alps in December. That was 70 days ago, and I'm now on the brink of having surgery to reconstruct that ACL. So I wanted to do this video diary, this kind of documented journey, because firstly, it could really help other people like me. When I first did this, I had no idea what to expect. I didn't even think it would involve surgery. I'll be honest with you, when I first did my ACL, I fell over. I was going probably 15 miles an hour at the bottom of a blue run, and I just fell. The bindings didn't unclip on my ski, my leg twisted round, and I heard the pop. And I'm guessing if you're watching this, you know that pop. And I carried on skiing for the rest of the day. I thought, oh, this is fine. My leg shook violently when it first happened, but I went back to the apartment, had some lunch, and yeah, sure enough, I was out again that afternoon. When I woke up the next day, however, my knee was swollen, so I ended up going to the medical centre in the Alps, getting an X-ray, and I was told, though, that horrible sentence, "You cannot ski again this holiday." And so, yeah, I went back to the apartment with my tail between my legs, started researching, and I found loads and loads of content from medical professionals, from high performing athletes who've ruptured their ACLs. But not many from guys like me or just average Joes. You know, I'm 48 years old. I'm probably half a stone over the weight I should be. And yeah, I'm not a high performing athlete. I enjoy family ski holidays. I enjoy a little bit of tennis, normally doubles tennis, pretty low level stuff, a bit of walking, bit of cycling. I'm not a runner, and I wanted to hear from someone who was about to go on the same journey, but because I couldn't find it, here I am. And whether or not you are that high-performing athlete, thinking, well, if this guy at 48, you know, half a stone overweight can do it, then there's hope for all of us. So my journey might be of use to you. A couple of other things about me, I suppose, that might be useful. I've got hyperextended knees. I've got 6 degrees of hyperextension in my knees. This means that I'm probably gonna get osteoarthritis in my later life anyway, but if I don't have ACL repair, the likelihood of that OA goes sky high. So I really do need to have this surgery. I'm very conscious of a weakness in that knee already. I'll tell you more about that, but let's just cover the main points to see whether or not my journey is going to be relevant to you and whether you'll get anything out of it. The other thing is I'm using a gadget, this technology called Physiolab. Now that might be of interest to you. It's definitely worth a Google. This is a cryotherapy device that goes around the surgery site. It delivers kind of pressure and cold, and apparently can really improve your recovery, really help with your physiotherapy. Indeed, it was my physiotherapist that said, take this leaflet at home, do your own research, look at this thing. I can tell you, having seen the difference between those who use it and don't use it, there is a big difference. So really, if you can afford it, and I'll be honest, it is hundreds of pounds to rent this thing for the recovery period, then go for it, because it does make a difference. So I'm going to use Physiolab as well. The other thing to point out is when I first had the fall in the Alps, I relied on my travel insurance. That paid for x-rays, paid for me to have a leg brace fitted. I'll go over more details of all of this and crutches, etc. later in the video. Again, I just wanted this high level to see whether I'm of any use to you, right? And when I got back to the UK, I then have claimed on my Vitality health insurance, which means I am getting the surgery a lot faster. Now, it's been 70 days since I had the accident. And I will tell you, I've already got incredible mobility, but I'm very aware that is still a weakened joint. We'll go into that into more detail in just a minute. But yeah, in 2.5 months, I'm already able to walk over 5 miles, 5-6 miles, no problem at all. Afterwards, the knee hurts a little bit. I probably shouldn't walk that far, but I've got incredible mobility even without ACL reconstruction. So you might be watching this thinking, well, I'm just going to use physio. And some people actually will delay their surgery and give physio a fair old whack before they make that final decision. For me, because of the bendy legs thing, I just wanted to get it done as quickly as possible. And actually, I was offered a much sooner surgery date, but because I've just come back off of another little holiday, just a half-term splash of sunshine, it's February here in the UK, couldn't fly within 6 weeks of the operation. So I needed to make sure I got the holiday out of the way, literally came back 2 days ago, and my surgery is next Monday. It's just a few days away. So yeah, that's kind of an overarching glimpse of my situation. As I say, I'm not some high performing athlete. I'm very much a casual kind of sporty guy. So if that's you, then perhaps it's worth following me. So I'll go into a bit more detail now about my particular case. So I've got a left knee ACL complete tear, also with a minor fracture to the top of my tibia, just on the very top, on that inside corner. There's a tiny little fracture, but the surgeon that I'm seeing said not to worry about that. There's also some damage to the meniscus pad, and they're gonna sort all that out in the surgery on Monday. And I will be using this Physiolab device from literally the moment I'm wheeled out of surgery with any luck. So yeah, my physio knows all about this. He's also based in the same hospital. So let's wind it back now. I'll try not to make this too long because there's going to be lots of updates, but I guess this first one's quite important because it's going to give you a real good idea of my journey and how it happened. So as I say, ski accident 70 days ago. How miserable. First day of skiing. If you're watching this and you're in the same situation, my goodness me, I feel for you. I was stuck in the apartment in the Alps looking out of the window, and what was I doing? I was Googling like crazy. I was using ChatGPT to try and I was hoping that I could get some sort of MRI scan out there and get back on the slopes. I even went back to the clinic the next day saying, you know what, it feels a lot better. I haven't used the pain meds you've given me, ibuprofen and paracetamol, and I'm sure it's not as swollen as it was. And basically this French doctor shouted at me, you cannot ski again, go back to your apartment. And that was the right advice, because when you've got weakness in your leg from a ruptured ACL, well, Lindsey Vonn has just shown it's 2026, by the way. I saw that awful accident. Lindsey Vonn ruptured her ACL and decided to compete in the Olympics anyway. And she said, though her crash was nothing to do with her ruptured ACL, I'm sure at some level it will have affected her confidence. I know even me, my confidence is affected in everything I do. So yeah, heed the advice of the medics. If you've just done this, if your knee has swollen and you think, oh, I'm just going to strap it up, paracetamol, ibuprofen, off I go, you really are risking some much more serious damage. And ultimately that means a much longer recovery period. I've been told initially 6 to 9 months recovery if I'm good with my physiotherapy following surgery. I've also heard from the physiotherapists I should prepare for a journey of more like 9 to 12 months, which is a bit miserable. I'm hoping it won't be that bad. I'm kind of the opinion that it can't be as bad as the accident itself, but I think I'm quite misguided there, because the truth is, I've now got incredible mobility. You know, I can drive, I can walk. I've just come back from holiday. I looked at my Apple Watch stats and I was walking an average of 5 to 6 miles every day for 11 days on that holiday. So yeah, how long is it going to be before I've got that freedom back? And I've really battled about whether I go through some physiotherapy first. And I know people, we all know people, right, that have had these ACL injuries. If it was a partial tear, I might go down the physiotherapy route. But because of my hyperextension and because I want it behind me, basically, I've opted to go for the surgery, and thank goodness Vitality, as my insurer, have supported that decision. The surgeon didn't say, you have to have this surgery. He simply said, if you don't have the surgery, physio might help you, but you're going to have to keep the physio up forevermore. And eventually you'll get old, you'll get, your muscles will deteriorate, and the pain will come back. And by that point, you'll probably have arthritis. So yeah, gotta have it done. That's just the way it is. I want to get back on the tennis court. As I say, I mostly play doubles tennis with my wife and my mates. I've never won a cup or an award for my tennis. I'm really low level. What I like is going out and having a walk and chatting to friends, the odd bike ride into the forest, all that kind of stuff. I'm not looking to become a high performing athlete, but there are plenty that have this operation that do go on to do amazing things. So yeah, let's go back to the injury in the Alps. When I first fell, my leg shook. This French guy came over, really nice guy, immediately and said, I heard that, are you okay? Because obviously I heard the pop on the way down. And I said, I think I'm okay. And sure enough, within 5 minutes, I was back on my feet and carried on skiing. And then, yeah, the next day I was x-rayed. I didn't get an MRI on the slopes. I wish I had, because that would have given me the comfort, I suppose, that it was definitely a full tear. I was convinced for some time in the Alps that it was a partial tear and this was stuff and nonsense and I should just get on with things. No, full rupture. But I will say that I didn't need any of the kind of opiate drugs that they gave me. And they gave me some superpower anti-inflammatories that I didn't use either. I literally used paracetamol and ibuprofen, and I was absolutely fine. I didn't even put anything cold on it. It was swollen, but I don't know. I think I was almost trying to prove to myself it would get better fast so I could go back skiing again, which didn't happen. I had Barclays travel insurance with my bank. I think it was Aviva. They were brilliant. I had them phoning me 2 or 3 times a day, checking I was okay, telling me they would cover the cost of crutches, telling me they would cover the cost of a knee brace. They did things I didn't even think about. They told me to book extra seats on the EasyJet flight home so I could elevate my leg. They made sure that I had special assistance at the airport, so I went straight through security. They provided me with a wheelchair, although my mate ended up pushing me around in a wheelchair. It was a boys' holiday. It was me and my friend and his son and my son. It was great fun for the first 48 hours for me. It was all good fun, to be honest. But of course I missed the skiing. But yeah, you can see here Ping rushing me through the airport because we were late. So it was all good fun and I was well looked after. And as soon as I got back, obviously as soon as you're home, that private cover that you have when you're abroad ends. The phone calls stopped. I just had to put in my receipts. Everything was paid and settled very quickly. And then I was on to Vitality, and yeah, it was MRI, a consultant with my surgeon. And I can tell you, I'm using Chris Bailey. He's my surgeon and he's at the Sarum Road Hospital in Winchester. He operates in various hospitals locally and of course for the NHS as well. But this is a private operation through Vitality. So yeah, I've read great things about him. You can look up everything about your surgeons these days. He's a lovely chap. I've met him, and obviously I've met the physio team now as well at the same hospital, and it's all been lovely. So yeah, I feel very assured that it's going to be a straightforward operation. So I'm going in 11 o'clock on Monday. It's Friday today. This huge box arrived, my Physiolab box arrived today. Here's a quick shot of it showing you, I wrapped it on my leg. Obviously I'm wearing jeans here. I just wanted to see how it works. So when I get it out of the box on Monday and I'm using it at home, it all makes perfect sense. But it's an incredible thing, really. It's like a sleeve that goes over your knee. They obviously do versions for all sorts of surgeries, but I've got the knee one. And yeah, it basically pumps ice-cooled water around your leg at a target 8 degrees Celsius. Now, it's thermostatically controlled. It does this. It's very, very clever bit of machinery. And it also applies compression. So it's a lot better than a bag of peas, basically. And you can use it pretty much like at least 4 times a day. And it has some amazing benefits. Apparently, your reliance on pain relief goes through the floor because you can decrease inflation and get natural pain management just by cooling the site. But it goes a lot further than that. And I don't understand the full science. I'm not medical at all, but yeah, I understand that it literally makes changes at kind of enzyme level. It stops proteins forming that create inflammation and all this stuff. And the data behind it, there's ongoing studies, but it really does seem to make a difference. And that's why I've decided to go for it. So yeah, there's a balance of whether you should have surgery as quickly as possible, whether you wait a bit, do some physio and then go for the surgery, wait a year, then go for the surgery. And I've read some reports of people saying that, these ruptured ACL tendons attached to other parts of their knee and caused further problems. Other people end up with meniscus wear because they've not had the knee properly repaired. So on the other hand, you get people who say that, you know, the fully ruptured tendon finds its way back, rejoins, and you know, they live a full and happy life without any surgery. But when I think of the probability of these two kind of strands swimming around in my knee, finding each other, connecting, and then healing to original strength, I just can't see. I think the chances, the probability of that occurring is so incredibly low, just thinking about it, you know, mechanically, that yeah, having a hamstring graft seems to be the way to do it. Now, and there are various ways to do it. This channel isn't about whether you have an allograft, whether you know, take the tendons from the front of your knee or your hamstrings. It's very different for everyone. All I can tell you is I'm having a hamstring repair. They're obviously going to drill a hole through my tibia and my femur and thread the hamstring through, secure it with these little metal screws either side, and effectively that replaces where the ACL was. That's a really basic description of it. You can search YouTube and find amazing kind of 3D renderings of how it works, and maybe I'll find one that I can feature in future updates. But at this stage, I just wanted to get across my case, whether it might help you. You're probably sensing a degree of anxiety in my voice and yeah, the way I'm carrying myself at the moment, because I am worried. I have not ever had surgery like this. When I first did this and I was researching and I saw it may end in surgery, I found it quite scary. Because there are risks with surgery, right? They're minuscule, but I would like to wake up from this surgery. I am terrified of infection, of MRSA, of C. diff. I say terrified, I'm not terrified. I've read the stats, but all these things can happen. There can be complications in surgery. You know, it's unlikely you'll end up paralyzed, but you could end up with much more serious knee issues. And I will be walking into that hospital on Monday, you know, with brilliant mobility. So it's a really scary decision for me. So maybe you're in the same place and maybe you understand where I am at the moment. And I hope that I'm doing an update on Monday or Tuesday, whenever I'm back. I'm overnight there, and apparently they don't let you back until you can walk up a few stairs, which seems crazy. I imagine that's with a crutch and maybe with a leg brace. I don't know. We're going to find this out together on the journey, aren't we? So anyway, I hope this is of use to you. I've already managed to fill nearly 20 minutes, so I'm going to stop there for today. Thanks ever so much. If you want to subscribe, obviously it would really help. If you want to link this onto groups where you think this video might, or this video journey might help others, please do. It's going to be an honest, authentic review. I'm going to tell you as it is, you know, my mental state, how I'm finding the physiotherapy, how my pain management's working, how this Physiolab device works. I'm going to cover it all, and hopefully you'll see a really marked, a really steady progress from me back to getting on the tennis court, which is my final goal, which I'm hoping I'll do this year, but it might be March next year. We just don't know. Surgery's booked for the 2nd of March. That's where I'm heading next. Thanks ever so much for watching. And yeah, it's great to feel I'm sharing the journey with someone. So please do comment. And if I can, I will be responding, because I'm going to be laid up for the next couple of weeks and I'll probably have plenty of time on my hands. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.